Hey everybody, it's Alexander A. Manzoni with Manzoni in the Morning, live. Doing this for the second time today because the first one didn't work out so well. So let's just go from there. All right. Harmonica, harmonica. Yeah, that's how we do it. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm going to start having a good day once I start reading this poetry. This is called Searching for Meaning. I'm searching for meaning in a seemingly meaningless and random representation of reality. Poetic philosophy, an examination of truth between and within words, between and within worlds. And though I feel nigh the precipice of virtual understanding, I plummet, whereupon I feel I have finally reached the summit. Only to find myself climbing again, ascending literary ascension. Not the assumption, 'tis not a religious journey, though it is so spiritual, even without the accompanying tithes and staid censer-swinging rituals. The ringing of bells. Tintinnabulations echo in thine mind and heart. Where to start? Where else can we go from here? To reach the clear skies and the peace of what layeth beyond, beyond life and the reach of the dark God. Cruciate. We need to escape. We need to triumph over them. The dark God, the nationalist Nazis, white supremacists, the Harvey Weinsteins, and the sweater-bound, smiling Bill Cosby father figures with pockets full of pills and a stiffened cock bulging through their khakis. We need to vilify these treacherous denizens of the dark God and his hoarfrost host of chthonic aberrations. Jackbooted, shaved-pate wonders, shambling southern legislators, and what some may call haters. You'll find me later, drifting in chair in inner space. I'm drifting, thinking and writing so many of these things that come to me. I hope that simply someday we'll discover what has been so fleeting. Understanding, egalitarian equity, for all the free citizens of the universe. Observe the chain of events as they evolve. Either way, we'll solve these problems, or they'll destroy us in the end. Oh, that's an interesting poem that I wrote in October of 2017 that is still very, very much valid, considering that right now they're having the Senate Judiciary Committee meeting about Brett Kavanaugh and Dr. Ford and all the craziness involved with that. And I was watching that this morning in between my earlier recordings. And it's a really intense and controversial thing that's going on right now. And I hope it works out for the best. But I have a feeling that even if they don't confirm this guy, they're just going to go right to the next asshole. And it could be any asshole, given Trump's penchant for selecting the worst of the worst when it comes to anybody in his administration. You know, it's like an Ocean's 11 of dog shit. But that's my opinion. So with that, we're going to go to American Carnage. And we're going to read The Ultra Billionaire Son's Quandary. Space, Station Epsilon, 2021 South Rodeo Drive, Friday, January 18th, 2092, 3:05 Eastern. It was easy to look down upon humanity when one was literally gazing down at the blue planet with contempt from an orbiting mansion network in the uppermost exosphere. Rex had never been down to Earth. He had never needed to go down, really. All of his needs were attended to by hirelings and cybernetic constructs, by his father, the investment tycoon, the crooked banker, who profited off of bad loans and thinly veiled pyramid schemes that duped the life savings from many a widow during the previous recession. It did not matter that because of him, thousands of mostly the elderly and terminally naive were stripped of their worldly possessions and sent to the work camps, in which case, for the most part, they would not return home from. Boy, did Rex's old man know how to score a deal. What he didn't know how to do was raise a son. He let the foreign nannies and the machines take care of the bulk of the work. At the moment, Rex's father, Glenn Cassowary, was away on a business excursion to Luxembourg. They communicated via tablet screen. His head was bulbous and sweating more than any reasonable person's should. The thunderous breath from his thrice rebuilt and cosmetically reshaped nose echoed in the speaker and distorted the incoming signal. "I still don't see the reason why you need to go down to Earth," Glenn began. "It's still not safe, not even in Europe. It's like the law doesn't exist anymore. Starving, blood-crazed madmen are killing themselves left and right. People, good people, are getting kidnapped daily for exorbitant ransoms by bandits and insurrectionists. And you want to go clubbing with a bunch of trust fund malcontents?" "My friends are not. What was it that you said? I wasn't listening." "That's you, always with your head up your ass." "Dad, I need to be free." "You need to mind your fucking mouth before I free your teeth from that slack-jawed face of yours, if you know what's good for you." "You don't know what this is like. You're always out doing your business, and I'm here languishing, decaying, striving to find a way to, I don't know, express myself. Don't you understand?" "Before you were born, they told me at the geneticist that they bred all the gay out of you. Isn't that funny? The flaky little fruit you've become. You know what I think? I think I got ripped off, and I think you're just using this as another excuse to get mindlessly fucked up on them designer drugs and any other goddamn thing some asshole sticks in front of you and says, 'Hey, buddy, try this. It'll make you look cool.'" Glenn was wise to Rex's burgeoning chemical dependency, but he thought that if he ignored it, pushed it under the rug for long enough, that it would perhaps go away on its own. It did not. Rex was high right then and there as well. He had been vaporizing concentrates smuggled in by his personal chauffeur and pilot, Tito. Tito did whatever the master told him, even if that meant breaking a few dozen laws in the process. Space laws. Glenn's orbital mansion was still under RSA jurisdiction, which meant that although cannabis was legal, it was heavily regulated. No weed was legally allowed to have more than 4% THC. "You talk to me like I've got no will of my own." "Oh, you got a will to disobey anything I say to you. Now you listen to me. You're not going nowhere. And I sure as hell not to Earth. I am absolutely putting my foot down on this one." "I'm going to kill myself." "Oh, shut up. Not that business again." "I'll really do it this time. I'll put my earbuds in and head straight down to the nearest airlock, clutching a bottle of Pinot Gris Chateau Le Maux 83, maybe." "You don't have the guts, Rex, nor the balls. You have no idea how good you have it up there, yucking it up, spending my money, doing nothing with a thumb up your ass all day and night." "If it's so good, Then why are you never here? I got my work. You know that. Now go ahead then and schedule with Tito to send down a proxy for you. Dad, it's just not the same to send a robot. It's close enough. Glenn abruptly hung up on his beleaguered kin. Rex frowned and placed the device into the breast pocket of his brilliant blue coat. I will not spend another minute stuck in this pressurized hellhole of insanity, thought Rex. Perhaps I must take matters into my own hands. Yeah, that's chapter 7 from American Carnage. We got the billionaire spoiled brat. He's a real fucking pain in the ass. I really like making these wacky characters. We're going to do the next Rex chapter. 10, Rex escapes Space Station Epsilon, Saturday, January 19th, 2092. In the frozen void of space did Rex walk. He absconded in the night. They went by New York time since they weren't exactly time zones while in orbit, flying thousands of miles an hour, utilizing a cheap Ferris Bueller-style ruse to conceal his disappearance. It was a makeshift representation of himself fabricated from wadded-up clothes and a half-inflated volleyball with a smiley face drawn on it, left behind in his bed. Utilizing the most basic of computer skills, he looked up the manual to Tito's dropship. Sorry, Tito, my good man, but them's the breaks, Rex commented. The controls seemed to be idiot-proof. Essentially, Rex assumed that commandeering the thing would be a cinch, and it would have been if he thought to also study the troubleshooting forums on the Simonek Cruiser L series website. He would have known that the atmospheric compensators were touchy. And he would have known how to amend the issue, restart the system, activate the de-icer, purge the coolant. Too bad for him. Clad in his best Gucci Astro suit with Piet Mondrian-inspired geometric textile design, a design that would be illegal to possess under American law, except that he was rich and therefore the rules usually did not apply. Rex cautiously blew himself out of the airlock in hopes of meeting up with his friends at the Juegos Musica Festivale going down in Ibiza, Spain. Next stop, Ibiza, chuckled Rex mischievously to himself, adjusting the visor on his $100,000 helmet. You don't want to know how much the rest of the suit cost. Bereft of grace, he leapt across the chrome surface of the space station exterior, tethering himself where he could to avoid being flung into nothingness. It looked easier than it actually turned out to be. Usually, the only people who ever had to go outside the walls of the stations were the help. The rich, well, their lives were considered too precious to risk. Still, Rex was determined to make it to the parking hub whereupon Tito's leased vehicle was located. The chain clips were 50 meters apart. To Rex, that was 50 meters too many. Just one wrong move and bye-bye. The procedure to move along the outer surface of Epsilon and other similar stations was as follows. One clips the chain, then moves to the next spot, making sure not to activate the tether release until fully attached to the next clip. Rex dutifully did this with the utmost care and attention. That was until he got a text on his phone. He could not resist immediately pulling it up on his visor screen, controlling the operating system with his eyes. To give an example of how that worked, 2 blinks was a double click, moving one's head up and down to scroll through windows, etc. Though the windows themselves were transparent, using such an interface considerably detracted from his ability to concentrate on hooking the cables ensconced in a thick layer of tacky tiger stripe velour. The message said, "We are killing it down here. Where you at?" It was from Claire Devereaux. Rex had a real hard-on for Claire, especially since a few years ago after she gave him a very public and very perceptibly awkward hand job in the stands at her prep school indoor lacrosse tournament. Rex voice texted a reply, "I'm almost on my way." Good Lord. Well, that's the end of that chapter. What's going to happen next? There's some harmonica for you. And I got the American Carnage. Now we'll do another poem. Sounds good to me, right? All right. We'll do a bit. Yeah, this one's good. All right, we'll try doing this one. I wrote a couple little bits, and I didn't like how one of them turned out, so let's go to another one. All right, here we go. Rudy Rude Boy's Guide to Clockin Dollas Without Leaving the House. Hey, everybody. It's your favorite meat on the street, Rudy Rude Boy. And I'm here to tell you that springtime's here. And you know what that means? Time to smoke some meth. More than usual, as a matter of fact, which also means that it's time to clock some dollars. And I know what you're thinking. Rudy, I'm too high. I can't leave my house because there be FBI agents chilling in the van across the street. And they've been there for 2 weeks. No, really, if you don't believe me, you can go out there and check for yourself. I'm here to tell you that there ain't no motherfuckers out there. Take it from me, the Rudester. I know a thing or two about these things. So how do you make your paper money proper whenever you're too cool to kink? I mean, think. In my day, when people would let me in their houses and I ran out of money and I already secretly cleaned out the dumb motherfuckers whose hearts were too big for their assholes, I'd order some delivery. Rob that motherfucker the second he got through the door. Now, usually, they call the cops when that happens. So once you got the dough, you best damn scray. More often than not, there'd be enough for a gram or two. But sometimes their pockets are flat. You know how that is. And if that happens, do not fly into a rage and beat the bastard to death with an old metal trash can lid. I repeat, don't do that, because you'll really regret it later. Especially when the sheriff, old Ozzy, and crew come catching up with you. When they found the wallet on you, they're going to be saying, you'll be saying, "These ain't my pants. I borrowed them from my boy." "What's his name?" they'll ask you. And I'll say, I forget. So they'll say, "So you're borrowing pants from people you don't even know, filled with stolen property, and you don't even know his name?" See, that's where they'll get you. That line of thinking might make sense to you, but you're coming down and desperate to do whatever it takes to get more. Well, you'll do whatever it takes except leave the house, room, apartment, whatever shithole you got. So don't start whatever shit it is you can't finish. And remember, there might be a consequence. Hell, I'm doing court on Monday, and you're still sitting there listening to this shit. Remember, with enough drugs and enough time, it can always get worse. There's some words for Rudy Rude Boy on the street. I know my voice is giving out a little, but that's what happens when you do all these wacky voices. Now let's do another poem. We're going to do, that's a special one. Let's see here. Standing under a spotlight, still in the dark, still with my sickness breathing down my neck. Malevolently looming and whispering prophecies of doom to me. At the end of therapy, cut adrift, discharged from psychiatry. Once, in another time, I could only witness what lay in front of me. Now, the horizon, it has expanded beyond what I have ever imagined. Broad horizons, illuminated yet still darkened by the specter forever hovering over me. A man at large, therapy discharged, yet do I know of a world beyond the waiting room, beyond the one-on-one. When I was overwhelmed, I used to run and hide. Sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes as long as I could to escape the grasping hands of fate until they found me, detained me, and forced me back into the system. Probation, therapy. All I could see was what lay directly before me, motivating me to do anything except to get better. Yet now, years later, still bipolar, they have declared me done, that there was nothing they had left to teach me, and I never thought I would declare, but they released me from therapy. A man once so predisposed and active suicidally, I had to submit eventually, granted autonomy. No, really, I never thought it could happen to me. I raised my black binder full of handouts over me and beat back my sickness. Blackened demon finds itself screaming against the rain of blows, obstruct my light no more. Cast not your doubts of delusion and despair. I care not for what you have to say to me. Be gone from me. You no longer control me. Every waking moment which you made a waking nightmare. I don't care where you go, as long as it is far enough away from me to be free to live life simply without the Reaper standing there right behind me. I am free. Thank you. I wrote that poem last year, December, when they discharged me from counseling. And that was a milestone, because I have spent a lot of time in therapy and on medication since I was 13. I'm 32 now, so that's a lot of years. Too many years. I mean, a few times I stopped going to therapy and stopped taking my medicine. And ironically, that was when my addiction was at its worst. So is that any surprise that I went off my medication when I was 18, and then 20, I try heroin, and then by 21, I am full on addicted. I guess that's not shocking. And then I had the crack and the cocaine, shooting that with the heroin, speedball. You have the up plus the down. I'd prefer to have them together to do some sort of crazy drug limbo You play the limbo, and if you knock the fucking bar off, you're dead. Corpse. It's like so many of my friends and loved ones, ex-girlfriends that are deceased now because of drugs. Heroin. Not so great. Not good at all. That's terrible. It's tough dealing with this every day, but I get through it. And a lot of that has to do with poetry and you, the good people out there that keep supporting me and encouraging me to continue, even when it seems like I am pissing in the wind. Not so much anymore, but a few years ago, when I first started this YouTube channel, there was a lot of feeling like it was a total waste of time because I wasn't getting as many views as I would have liked. But I learned that the best method was to get on as many of these social media sites as possible and then spread out the posts between all the things so that something that doesn't hit on one thing ends up doing well on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. It's all really different. And it's like there's occasions where I've done something, recorded something, and then thought twice about it because nobody was really watching it or anything. And then later on, I found out that it probably would have did a lot better if I put it on something else aside from just the one platform. That's right. And you got to have brand awareness. Manzoni is a brand aware that it is here. He is here to stay. As long as a meteor doesn't land on me or get hit by a truck or any of the other things. But I try to be careful. That's right. We're going to do one more poem, and then I am going to sign off. Do not despair the dark days. Dark days, shadows find me inside. Not enough lights to cast off the darkness. There may not be enough lights in the world to illuminate this. Writing again in early afternoon. Sickness, both in body and in heart. Wishing to recover and regain thy vitality amidst vitamin D deficiency of winter, of which there seems to me to be no escape. Where will our fates lead us in the end on life's perilous journey? Not to a road blocked with state and city cops, not to where the dark god stalks and feasts on our spirits. We do not need this needless blood spilled everywhere, flooding the streets, demonic, demonstrable deluge. The product of hate and ignorance, wrath, ideology, greed, and the worship of the self. I proclaim that these tenets should be cast down and shelved. I exclaim that I can no longer stand idly by neck deep in the frothing, flooding, bloody deluge. No ruse, no use trying to swim. No idea where to begin, that if the flood did end, how would we go about cleaning up the coagulated crimson muck? No use thinking, no hope resisting, keep on drowning while the world collapses and is submerged with thee. Me, I keep on fighting, thrashing against the sanguine current, and I cannot stop, for I fear with terrific dread what would happen if I did. Surely not during these dark days. Do not fall back to the old ways. Do not be swallowed and consumed by Cruciate, the dark god, and his inexorable, infernal host of horrors and sorrows. Please continue forward into tomorrow and the next day and all the rest afterwards. Take care to perhaps remember these words, especially in one's darkest hours. Not today, thankfully. Not today. Thank you very much. And a little update on Manzoni in the morning. Yesterday, I was doing, I animated the final clay sequence. I had the octopus and the dog and the baby, and the baby's riding the dog, and the octopus is chasing it. And it's very entertaining. It took a long time, but that's going good. Now I just have to do a few tweaks, editing here and there. And I'm going to show it to my creative consultants. So they watch the episode before I release it and give me some more feedback. And maybe I need to make a couple sequences a little bit shorter. But the new official episode, Manzoni in the Morning, episode 10, season finale is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming for you. It's coming for you. I keep thinking of new stuff to record, and then I got to record it and add it to it. I mean, there's like tons of skits that I haven't done yet, but sometimes I'll just be struck with something, and then I have to record it. Like I was watching some stuff on the Illuminati and how people were thinking that people who do this or this is the sign, and like this is the sign, which if this is the sign, hello everybody, if this is the Illuminati, I am the member, Donald J. Trump, okay. This is supposed to mean like the 666 or something, I don't know. And I had to record like myself watching through like one of these to just freak out one of these conspiracy theorists who, I like reading about conspiracy theories. They're entertaining. But to think that most of that this stuff is reality is just outrageous. Maybe there is a secret society. Maybe they're standing behind me right now. Maybe they're watching me through this thing. And if that's the case, fuck you, Illuminati. Fuck you, secret government spy, whether it be United States, Russia, China, fucking some 300-pound guy on his couch in New Jersey. Fuck them all. I'm watching you. This has been Manzoni in the Morning live, signing off. Have a great day. Thank you.